So, there was a fucking windstorm that hit Ohio, and apparently the only fucking substation that went down was the one in New Russia Township, or one of a few. So I had no fucking power, it was dark, we had a wood burner, and I would have mentioned this. In the dark, I realized the switch, and I was playing fucking Pokken Tournament in the dark. Yeah, and like, that's the thing, Nintendo does what they Nintendo don't.
If it's not fun, why bother? And what's more fun than having the power knocked out of your house?
Yeah, and the worst part was, my fucking dogs he'll sit in a corner, and you have a flashlight, because it was that dark, and I flash around, I see eyes. Too much fucking Resident Evil in this house. Mm-hmm. Depending on the adaptation, it can be either Resident Evil 2 or 7.
Have you played Resident Evil 2 yet?
I have not, and I really want to.
Me too.
I just love Mr. X so much.
I mean, I've seen all the memes.
Oh, of course. Mr. X, I'm gonna give it to you.
I've seen the one where he's modded without any clothes, where he's just wearing underwear.
How long do you think it'll be till they make an anime girl one?
I think that they've already like at least started work on that.
They should make a dragon girl, dragon maid, like that little lolly dragon. Have that chasing everybody.
Or it's just like gender bent, where it's like Mr. X, but like a giant buff female, which I'm sure a bunch of people are into.
Wait, no, they should call him Mr. Y and her Mrs. X.
This is just calling him, or I was thinking Miss Snoo Snoo. I don't know. I've seen like the memes where it's Chris Redfield trying to get Leon to impregnate his younger sister, Claire.
Oh, fuck. You know, I kind of don't like Chris Redfield.
I mean, I can't really say much about him. I don't really know his personality other than blank slate.
Yeah, it's like fucking. The only time I gave him a personality was in Resident Evil 6. He became an alcoholic, and he had like this friend like. You know, it was a Tumblr bait kind of friendship, and then the guy, spoiler, dies because it's a Resident Evil. And
I mean, it's Resident Evil 6. I don't really give a shit about spoilers.
6 is kind of okay. I really like the Ada's and Alex's campaign. Alex is Wesker's anime-esque son.
I saw this video on YouTube. The title was Resident Evil 5 Retarded Wesker Mod. And I had my hopes up, but when I watched the video, it was just... like one of the crazy characters from Resident Evil 5, but modded Wesker's skin from that game as him doing all the crazy wacky stuff.
No, what they
I'm like I would have settled for just a scene with Wesker like with his voice pitched down and slowed down really slow.
No, you know what I would have fucking done? I would have like made him give him like the Tourette's guy voice or some shit like that. Just change his voice, but keep the same.
Yeah. Takes me back to the days of Gmod animations.
God, I remember those.
I wasn't really into them when they were really, really big. I didn't get into them until, like, I think 2015. It was, like, after Kitty0706 died. And I got, like, the Shitty Webcomics blog they were linking to one of his videos, Team Fabulous 2. Or no, they linked to one of the GTA 4 animations, which was actually different from the Gmod, where... He just like did some gameplay of GTA 6 and used the like in-game video recorder, and he actually did some really good stuff with that.
Wasn't there like a zombie one?
I don't know if it was from him.
Do you remember? Like I like Source Filmmaker and all, but fucking Gmod had some good stuff.
Yeah, like actually the first one I think I remember watching was Dirty Gary, which was Barney, and like it was like. It was like sort of a Dirty Harry spoof, but with the Barney skin, and it was like, I don't know, like I remember it being like I remember it being kind of funny, but like, and I'm sure if I went back and watched it again, it would have like that mid 2000s era, like not cringe, but like I like
shame.
I like cringe stuff from that era though. It has a sort of like sincerity to it.
Like. I'm in a Discord channel, and hey, can I add my friend? And he puts, she's wacky. And she talks like a fucking MySpace user from 2008. Or maybe even 2006. She honestly does the RAR and the XD emoticon. Like, I fucking said it's the Minchino Man. Like, Minchino Man, they found like this MySpace girl cryogenically frozen, they let her loose.
Makes me think of that like the previous episode, we were talking about boomers and how like we're gonna get to that age where we're like quoting memes and our kids don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Like, I'm sorry, this picture. When I was a kid, I found this paper. I wanted to name my kid Shinji and my daughter Asuka. That's how much in fucking Ava Geek I was. And I really feel sorry for any weeaboo that does that.
Well, I mean, like when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, like there were stories about parents bringing their kids to the GameStop and like their kid's name was Kairi or Sora. There was one like a couple of years ago, or like 5 years ago, I heard like on Tumblr, someone like the user was like a kindergarten teacher, and like two of the kids in her class were named Sora and Riku.
There's gonna be Ava Geeks is gonna have some guy go, "Hey, this is my baby." And holds the baby. His name is Nerve Agent 4. Apparently, he's one of the most famous non-named Ava characters, even though I don't fucking remember. He has one line in there. Damn! When they show Asuka, you hear him go, damn! That's his only line! God, I really hope the dub doesn't fuck it up.
Yeah, we're back on this again.
I'm sorry.
Nah, that's fine. I'm eagerly awaiting it. Semi-eagerly. I don't really give a shit that much, but... Like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Did you hear Funimation lost its shit about it and they posted this really big article like, Netflix is hurting the anime business like an indie group like Funimation.
I mean...
They're angry they didn't get their Ava bucks.
Yeah, like, they don't really have any room to complain after they separated from Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Also, like, they've been... I assume that they're under a lot of pressure from the whole Vic Mignogna, like, controversy.
For what?
Like, I guess Vic Mignogna, the voice actor for Fullmetal Alchemist, that's what I think he's most known for. But he does a bunch of other roles. He was accused of, like, doing some, like, creeping on, like, fans at conventions and stuff. And, like, Funimation fired him over, like, those accusations. Which... I don't know if they're true or not. I'm not going to lean in either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they've been under a lot of fan backlash. I heard that Vic is planning to like sue them or something. So I imagine like their whole staff is under like a lot of duress.
Yeah, and then Netflix pulled that shit. Well, I'm sorry, I'm a paranoid theorist. There's a reason why they're making an American release on Netflix with Evangelion. There's a reason. Either we're going to get that fucking Ava movie early, or we're going to get a fucking live-action Ava movie in the works.
I hope they don't get to the live-action remake.
What if it was made by the same group that Battle Angel Alita? That could be cool.
I mean, yeah. Like, I don't know if Ava would lend itself to, like such a good adaptation, though. Because, like, when I think about... animes that are really, really out there, stuff that can only be done in anime. It's kind of like the same problem that video game movies have, is like mechanics and gameplay elements that only work in a game. They don't translate well into... I mean, the only one I can think of is probably Scott Pilgrim, which kind of like satirized, like, I guess you could look at it as a satire of video game tropes. But I think that still the general public isn't as, like, familiar with anime tropes enough to do like a satire of anime tropes in an American movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still paranoid about shit like that. Like, I was back on the Ava conspiracy. Like, once, like, they did an update on the Evangelion website where they took out the name Asuka and everyone thought, they're gonna retcon her from existence! No, they took her out because it turned out the actress had this minor kerfuffle over lawsuits. So then they brought her back on and we're all back to calm. All six of us that haven't killed ourselves or been devoured by the void. So you want to talk about the big news?
Oh yeah, Reggie. He's retired from Nintendo.
That fucking hurt me. I didn't expect... I know.
Yeah, like one thing is that he's pretty young to be retiring. He's 57 and... Like, I heard some people saying, is there something going on behind the scenes? I don't think there is.
No. I think he said, it's too much for me. Or maybe I just want to try something new.
He just wants to spend time with his family. Yeah. Whether or not there's anything, like, personal going on in his life that led him to make that decision, I don't know. And if that ever comes out, which it inevitably will, if that is the case, then, I don't know.
Maybe.
But I'm happy that like when I first saw the video of him announcing it, I actually teared up a little bit.
Yeah.
When I was watching for the second time, I was still like tearing up, and I'm like, oh, I can't watch this right now.
I'm sorry, but like I didn't see the video, but I was still tearing up because it's all the memes and all the good things about him. He was probably one of the nicest guys I can think for running a company almost.
Yeah. Yeah, like he did a good job at marketing to the American audience, definitely.
Yeah, what was it? I'm here to
Like, my name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names, and I'm about making games.
Was that his introduction to everyone?
Yeah. I don't know if that was like his like first major like keynote as the president of Nintendo of America, but it's probably one of his most iconic things.
I'm not sure how I feel about Doug Bowser yet.
Yeah, like
he seems like a nice guy. He has a sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, like I saw like all the Doug Bowsette memes already starting to pile up.
Fuck, like I thought Bowsette was dead.
Yeah, Doug Bowser has resurrected her.
I'm sorry, like I kind of like memes that can come back sometimes if they're good.
I mean, I appreciate that I'm coming back even when they're terrible.
Yeah,
I think that they sort of age like wine in that sense.
God,
I'm looking at like stuff like there's some Rage comics that are even coming back.
What the fuck?
Well, I mean the like the whole like today I will da da da.
Oh.
Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay. Well, there are some that are coming back.
Do you remember what the fuck was? Or no? Did you know that this is an off-topic quick little tangent? You know Peppy is a member of a webcomic?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Did you know the owner or the creator killed Peppy because he was so mad?
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I was mentioning to you how I was like resurrecting one of my own webcomic characters. If that character ever got like appropriated for anything, then I'd just roll with it.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Like I like to say that now, but I don't know. I think that I could roll with it. I'm
sorry. I just like to imagine. Are you familiar with Tenacious D?
Yeah.
They have a song called "The Metal," which just and just replace the metal with Pepe.
There was actually like a song that Empty Hero did about like that specific comic, where like it was. I don't know what the song is, but it goes like, "It would you know Pepe if you saw him in heaven." And it's like him just calling Matt Fury a retard.
Recently, I got back into going on 4chan a bit more than usual, and it really fucking surprises me. I got off a thread where we were calling each other every fucking profanity you can find, and you hit the everyone, and everyone's like, it's nice, and it's the feeling of 4chan comfy I've been heard about. Mm-hmm. And it's just nerds talking about what's the best creature in Shadow of a Demon Lord.
Did you hear about what happened with THQ? They held an AMA on 8chan. And people ripped into them over that because, like, 8chan, like, in the past, they've been, like...
I heard about the pedophilia stuff.
Yeah, it's the same stuff that happened with 4chan back in the day, actually. But, like, 8chan was, specifically from what I heard, was that when Gamergate was still happening, you had game journalists uploading that stuff to 8chan to try and get them in trouble.
Oh, fuck. I remember that now. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I still can't believe Gamergate happened.
Yeah, that was a weird period.
Yeah, it's like... I can't fucking explain how it is to me. It would be a great movie if you made it like a subterfuge film and they're spies.
Like, the only thing that I ever said about Gamergate when it was happening, the only statement I ever made, you can probably look this up on my Twitter, was that, like, at the time I said it should go on for as long as it needs to. And I left that statement intentionally as vague as possible.
Yeah.
And I think it did. And in a way, I think it kind of overstayed its welcome. Like, to this day, I think that people still, like... in my opinion, like, the games industry just needs to burn. The same opinion I have of the comics industry, to be honest.
I agree. Like... From the fire, the Phoenix can rise, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, just leave it to the indie studios. They're the ones that are, like, doing real innovation.
I'd like to see NetherRealm go indie.
Remind me who they are.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because Warner Brothers been breathing down their neck from shit I hear. Stuff like they want to put in microtransactions, and Mortal Kombat's been trying to step away from that as much as possible. Mortal Kombat, loot boxes.
Injustice 2 had loot boxes.
Yeah, like they're trying to step away as much as they can, but Yeah, it's fucked up. I don't like Warner Brothers, the company. But they're not... Is THQ still around, by the way?
Yeah.
What the fuck have they been doing? Destiny, right?
Yeah, and that's not been doing well at all.
Yeah, like... Remember when they used to have, like, all the licensed games? They had the SpongeBob games.
Yeah, that was actually the first thing that I thought of, too, was SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob on 8chan.
I mean, he's probably already seen all the porn, to be honest.
Yeah.
It made me think, like, I don't know if we've, like, discussed this before on the podcast, but what would you say is your favorite video game?
Oh, fuck. That's a hard question. I have different favorites depending on my mood. One that immediately comes to me is Fallout New Vegas. Another one is Skyrim, because when I first played Skyrim, I made a character for each of the races, and then I made one for each gender of the race, and I still had finding new stuff. One that's been a friend of mine, or that I've been fond of recently, is Dwarf Fortress. You know, because you can create an entire world. I made a world recently, and my favorite fucking thing ever is there are fucking chinchilla men that took over a goblin nation. And this world lives in fear of chinchilla man raiders. But it's fucking well written by its random generation. We're going to be adding religion, too. Religion, subterfuge, spies, and crime. And probably, if I had to go classics, and if I have to go true classics, in my opinion, from a PS2, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Was that the beat 'em up?
Yeah, it has one of my favorite things ever. If you're fighting Scorpion or playing with him and he misses the spear 8 times, or no, it's 10 times, then he says, "Get the fuck over here, bitch!" I love that. It's all the little touches, you know?
Yeah. My answer would be, and this is kind of a difficult one. Like, it might not count because this one in particular depends on, like, the previous 2 games, but Jak 3.
Oh.
It's had, like, probably the best amount of stuff in a game. It had, like, a lot of mechanics that were really well realized. It sort of built off from its predecessor, Jak 2.
I have another action if you go by that. I like Shadow of War. I know it kind of fucking ass-raped the entire mythos of Middle-earth. That's the only word I can use. But I liked it because the Nemesis system was so personal.
Like, do they ever explicitly state, like, it's in a parallel universe or something?
I believe it's implied because there's some other fucking chronology changes. The real cool thing is I went back to there, and I have this fucking Nemesis. You know how your Nemesis can return they're in the gladiator pit? I had him fucking survive that pit. He's still fucking after me. He literally has every trait I can't win against. If he shows up, I run.
Yeah, for me, like, probably my favorite standalone game would have to be Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's a... You know...
Yeah, I might have to say that that's my favorite game overall. With Jak 3 being a close one.
Now, I have a couple other interests now I've been thinking about this more. From a series, Persona 5. I've been replaying it, and it's amazing because I know every turn the story takes, and I'm still on the edge of my seat. From a single standalone, from not playing any of the others, I would probably have to say I really fucking God, it's a hard one. I really like Gears of War 2. I have memories of playing Horde mode with my stepbrother. And I really liked that because we would play that one level that had the river in the middle and you had that little house there. And we used to put the shields up and we used to fucking rock it until grenades started coming in.
And speaking of video games, and probably the polar opposite of Gears of War 2, the new Pokemon is coming out.
How do you fucking know that? Maybe there's gonna be the Locust Invasion subplot. I just want to see, you hear Pikachu, and then you hear the chainsaw. Oh my god, picture a chainsaw fucking Lancer Pokemon.
It's like that would be like a bird with a chainsaw beak.
You know there's a bird called the greater lyrebird. It can actually copy the noises of mechanical objects. There's more than one of them that use chainsaw sounds because they hear that in the forest. But yeah, I'm Sword and Shield. What are we gonna have next?
I saw an edit of the title where it's like the green one, like the third one is gun.
That'd be fucking amazing. There is this Yu-Gi-Oh game where one of the secret characters, it's a dragon with revolvers for arms and a revolver for a head. That should be very legendary.
For some reason, I was thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh recently, specifically like the 4Kids when I was growing up, and like I remember they just inserted like shitty rock music into like certain parts of the series. Where it's like where Yugi's facing Joey for the first time. It's like, it's been you and me for all this
Is
time.
it butt rock?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, I kind of like that genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's done so awkwardly that it's kind of like from what I remember, it's kind of endearing.
Can you imagine living in a world where your name depicted what your hobby was? Hey, what's your name? My name is Neville Underwood. I collect bug Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh yeah, Weevil. Yeah,
Weevil Underwood.
I remember. You ever seen the Abridged series?
No.
Where it's where Weevil and the other guy.
The T-Rex one.
Yeah, the T-Rex guy, and like their voices sound like Beavis and Butthead.
I want you to guess which deck I wanted from the original show. Fucking that guy. Mm-hmm. What's his name? Like Rex?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, what?
I mean, like we kind of like you mentioned, like you're living in a world where your name defines who you are. I mean, that's like if you look at somebody named Chad versus like somebody named like
Algernon
or like Eugene, and that's just like yeah.
I was thinking that. You know what I have my mad theories with the next Rockstar game is going to be? Bully.
I would love that.
Do you know why I think about that? You can unlock a gun in the game by doing this really annoying quest line that belonged to Jim Boy Calloway. Jim Calloway, the main character Bully. Can you imagine that game on the fucking Red Dead 2 engine?
Yeah, I would like to see that. I don't know if I have much faith in Rockstar as they are right now to do like something that's as good as the first one. But if it even comes halfway close, I would be on board for that.
I just really want to picture, like, they should put an Easter egg in the game where your dad finally shows up and you're, sure, how my son been doing? And it's fucking, like, Arthur Morgan. That'd be a cool Easter egg or some shit like that.
I wonder if they're going to have the same characters for Boy, too, or if it's going to be a new kid.
I think what they should do is that they should make you live in, like, a nearby town that's also a preppy, snooty town. And then it turns out fucking Calloway is, like, he's the homeless guy, or he becomes, like, a soldier and he, like, teaches you shit.
Oh, yeah, like, yeah, that would be interesting.
Oh, no, they should make him like the homeless guy.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, and you know, fuck. You know, and then they could add like a Grand Theft Auto Easter egg, like you can meet fucking Trevor. He goes, "Hey kid, I have a mission for you." Oh, that'd kind of be cool. They could use this sort of like a bridge between the two series.
I need you to pick up a bag of sugar from my friend in the alley outside the bakery.
And then, yeah, like, I really liked the main character Bully because he was kind of smart.
Yeah, like he's an asshole, but he's also like clever, street smart.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the characters in that game are really well written.
I really liked I liked the idea of like the four groups or as well.
The cliques. They're the not factions. I don't think they're called cliques, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like you had the nerds.
Yeah, the nerds, the preppies, the greasers.
Who's the other one?
The jocks.
Oh yeah, I hate those fucking jocks. Yeah. They would fucking beat the shit out of me because I sucked at fighting in that game.
Yeah, I remember when like one of the lines when they like antagonize you is like, "You want to go?" And then my brother was actually said like that's what some of the kids at his middle school would say.
God. You know what I remember one time? I lived in a shitty fucking neighborhood when I was growing up, and I saw this kid who was doing the whole "you go" thing, you know, and you're this little kid, and he's talking to this black kid, and he starts throwing racial shit. This kid walks up to him, beats him on the back of the head once, drops him like a hot habit, walks away. And I always remember that. He didn't say a single thing. All he did was walk over, end of story. Wait. You could still have oh man, you could have the Red Dead 2 conversation system until you accidentally pull your revolver and shoot somebody.
Or just pull your slingshot, yeah. Like if there's any like new clicks that you'd want added to the new game.
Okay, I have one really shitty one, but you could get the furries.
I was just about to say, like, either, like, have the nerds be more like weeaboos.
God. Oh my god, I'm just picturing...
Like the fat kid instead of having this, like instead of, like, him... No, he'd probably still wet his pants, but he'd wear a fedora while doing it.
No, if he wets his pants enough times, he comes with a fucking katana.
Yeah. Yeah, like, his special ability is to teleport behind...
What... what you should be able to do is make a little gang. You could pick your favorite clique members, and you could get I want the guy who pisses himself with a meatball. I want that one jock who's good at throwing bombs, and you could build your own street tough.
Yeah, I'd like to see a goth clique.
Oh my god, yes. I remember I was on a Persona 5 chat. My favorite line I heard was someone says, "Oh yeah, I only do a romance option of the goth doctor." Someone says, "I'd break my own legs to see the goth doctor."
I wonder if, because I think that the original Bully was set in the mid '90s.
It was.
So this would probably be set in the mid 2000s. So that would be interesting.
You could have the Offspring do a soundtrack.
Or I was about to say Evanescence.
Oh.
But yeah, Offspring would work. Or My Chemical Romance.
Oh, Evanescence needs to be the boss theme of the final boss. Maybe they should have an evil principal character. He's the actual main antagonist.
I liked how they did the principal in the first game. How he was initially the antagonist, but by the end you sort of see eye to eye with him.
I know, I liked that.
Yeah, because I think that's what they were originally going to do with the game.
And then they had the idea,
let's make the school shooter kid the main antagonist.
You're what are you doing? I'm playing a Doom wad. Oh, fuck, that'd be a great joke, actually. All he does is play Doom and listen to Evanescence.
Now, speaking of My Chemical Romance, I saw that Netflix they released the first season of The Umbrella Academy.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been kind of hesitant to see it with my own eyes, but because I really liked the. For context, Umbrella Academy was written by the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way, and I haven't seen I've been cautious to see how the Netflix work did because I really like the comic.
You know what the thing I always remember about Gerard Way is? I don't know his name from the band, and I feel bad. I mean, I know him from the band, but his name has been engraved in my skull because of my immortal.
Yeah, that was Ebony dark apostrophe Nuss.
It's
Raven Way.
It's Ebony Dementia Darkness Raven Way.
Yeah.
Get it right. I'm sorry, man. I really miss fan fiction authors how they were back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
You would just be sitting there and go wow, I like shipping Mario and fucking Zelda. And then you hear the drums of war, you hear the Mongolian war chants.
That was actually in a fucking Your Favorite Martian video. Remember them? It was Ray William Johnson's band.
Oh, God. Did they do what did they do?
They did this classics such as Doing Your Mom. Let's see what else. That's the one that I remember the most. My Balls. Let's see what else.
I swear to God, did they do Newgrounds animation?
They were Newgrounds tier level animations, but they were all on YouTube.
The name is really fucking familiar. It's gonna piss me off until I Google it.
Yeah.
I know I listened to one of our songs.
Mm-hmm. But the one I'm thinking of is they did a cover of Somebody I Used to Know by Gautier, and the animated music video was Mario dating Zelda, and they broke up or something. And it's really all their videos are really dumb. Man, I was just thinking of how Ray William Johnson really actually influenced modern YouTubers, and how remember Equals 3 was him just reacting to viral videos. Yeah. That's basically the same thing as what PewDiePie does now. It's PewDiePie just looks at stuff that's submitted to him on his Reddit, and it's just 10 minutes of him reacting to dumb videos or Facebook posts.
Shit, I need to hit that place.
And it all began with Ray.
It's interesting how YouTube has evolved.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would describe it, if it was an anime, as the Cell games of multimedia things.
Is that where we're in right now? Or are you talking about YouTube just...
YouTube. How it just, starts off as a not so dangerous and bad, fucking eats everything it sees, fuses with Google. God. I also only know Cell games from Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2. And I couldn't ever watch it. I played it in Japanese, so I didn't... And when I heard Cell's English dub voice, I fucking lost it.
He has that very posh.
No, it sounded dumb to me for some reason. Like something was off.
I know that I had the same feeling with Little Witch Academia on Netflix.
Is that good?
Yeah, like the anime is really good. I actually think that the short films are better, but like they're all on Netflix. And like the one problem I had with the dub, because the dub is pretty alright, but the problem is the main character, Akko. Like her voice in English just doesn't work for me.
Like, what kind?
Like she sounds like kind of like a children's show voice actress, like Dora the Explorer.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
You know what voice I fucking hate? The really breathy anime girls. I hate that fucking breathy voice. I remember, I don't remember what it fucking was. I heard this voice in an anime, and I honestly hope to God she got brutally murdered in the story.
Reminds me of the dub for Bible Black, how fucking dumb that is. It just becomes like it becomes a comedy with that. Like I imagine that the voice actors had a lot of fun recording that.
I really honestly want to see what one of those bad dubs looks like in there. Like, who am I voicing? Oh, his name's Yugi? God.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I saw an interview with Shindo L. He's a guy who did Emergence.
Name's really... what else do you do?
Well, that's what he's most known for. He's a manga artist of the H letter kind.
I see.
And like Emergence is probably his most infamous, probably the most infamous hentai, like as of right now, as of this era. It's really like it's got a story that will wreck you
In bad ways or like well written?
It's well. I don't know if I'd say it's like well. It has a story, and like which is I think rare for stuff like that now. I like in his interview he said that like I like how he phrases it. He's like a lot of hentai right now is more utilitarian. And like
I want to steal that word. That is a great word for that.
It just gets to the point. He's a really nice guy. Like, and it makes me think like how like they don't hide his. He didn't hide his face at all. And he seems just like a nice guy. And the thing is, like, even Shadman will hide his face. But like this guy's just like, I draw stuff like this, and it's like, and he even says like, like my mom sees my stuff, and like the only complaint she has is that it's, like the girls aren't cute.
I'm sorry. Wow. Oh, no. I thought your mom walks in. No, you have to get the back right. The ogre's penis should be breaking her in half. God. Can you imagine, like, if he got recognized in public? What is this sort of thing? Oh, hi. Oh, how does my son know who you are? Oh, I
like how in the interview they were saying, I grew up with stuff like this, and I'm like, I wouldn't admit that.
Oh man, you know what I remember was when fucking hentai got really hot over in the West.
Was there a specific period when that happened?
Like 2009 onwards, it started flowing over.
Yeah, I would say mid 2000s. That sounds about right.
And one of my friends he showed. I was obsessed with this anime. It's the one with the weird anime or the weird nerd girl. There's a pair. Watamote.
Oh yeah.
Cool, because I know there's another anime with that fucking name. I get confused sometimes. And there was this hentai that he wanted me to read the first part. And it's literally she walks out there, sees a cat boy, it attacks, rapes her, walks away. And I realized that's a fucking... Can you imagine living in a dystopian hentai universe? That would be a good horror game.
There was actually a Watamote hentai that actually had a really good plot. It was wholesome though, so... I don't know if I should say no pun intended to that. That's kind of a stretch. But she has a classmate confess his love to her, and then she gets nervous and she says, let's go to a hotel and just hang out. And then they end up doing it, and then she sort of gets over her nervousness, which that's not how it works in real life, but whatever.
No,
this is hentai logic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like the interaction between them is like really nice and wholesome. Like, yeah.
You know what I fucking remember? One of my friends works at a hotel, and there's a porn company that shoots there.
Oh, really?
And here's the thing that's right me. They clean up. When they're all done, they leave their cards hidden all over for maids to find. That's good marketing. Like, one with them was hidden under, like, a chair. Some were hidden in the pillow, so when you shake it out, they'd fall out. And I realized what their logic is. So when she's mad, shake it, fuck this job. And this card magically falls down like a Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
Have you ever found any of those working at the inn?
No, I'm not even gonna fucking lie. I cannot think of a job that had as much annoying human interaction as that. You know what I remember one time? Was this guy went, "Hey, fluff my pillow. Fluff it." He went everyone did. So he was just talking there. And I remember he got the really, really bitchy lady. And she was coming up the hall. And I went, oh, fuck, I want to hear this. I also remember... Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I also was thinking about something. The worst fucking shit about working in a hotel is no one ever fucking wipes their ass. And they always sit on the bed naked.
They didn't mention, you had to deal with, sheets that looked like somebody had their period.
Yeah. Because I'm sorry, ladies. I walked into a couple of rooms that looked like the Japanese flag laid out there. And they don't leave a fucking tip. They're embarrassed. But still, fuck you. If you make a horrid mess, can you please leave at least $1?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like just common sense.
I found out once there was apparently a one-eyed midget who went there. I wish I could, I'm sorry, but the way you Willie there was a one-eyed midget with a cane, and that sounded like a horror movie opening.
Yeah, actually, it sounds like an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah. The Hotel of the One-Eyed. Have you ever read The House of Usher?
Yeah, a while ago when I was in college.
I read it a while ago. I saw this thing called Extraordinary Tales. Mm-hmm. It's this, it's an animated collection of short films.
I have that on my Netflix list, yeah.
I recommend it. They did this one at The House of Usher with Christopher Lee, and I'm sorry, Christopher Lee has the greatest voice of any actor and narrator. Yeah. And I had this cool idea for something. It's a House of Usher sort of deal, but the more and more this guy fails this mandate, his skin starts cracking and resembling the house that he lived in. So the windows crack and his eyes become blood, as the building's finally crumbling, he becomes crippled almost by it.
And Christopher Lee, he actually voiced one of the characters in Kingdom Hearts 2. And, he actually salvaged that character, too.
What was the character?
That was Ansem the Wise, a.k.a. Diz. He's the guy in red.
Oh, God. They really call him Diz?
Yeah, that's his pseudonym. It stands for Darkness in Zero, which is kind of retarded. I'll have to... even when I was a kid, I thought, Kingdom Hearts 2 was terrible.
You ever have that moment where it's wow, this is bullshit!
For me, that was when Goofy dies in Kingdom Hearts 2.
What if they actually, fucking kept him dead? They rip his head off?
And yeah, they replaced the voice actor for Ansem, the imitator or Xehanort or whatever. Mm-hmm. They replaced that actor for some no name. In the first game, he was voiced by Billy Zane, and he did a fucking fantastic job. In Kingdom Hearts, he's his dialogue is pretty much the same in both games, where he's just darkness is the heart's true essence. He's just talking about darkness. But, you believe everything he says because he's such a great voice actor, such a great villain voice. But because, they actually have, a flashback in Kingdom Hearts 2 where, they replace the voice actor. First one, he's Kingdom Hearts, fill me with the power of darkness. And then the second one is Kingdom Hearts, fill me with the power of darkness.
You know what voice I remember really liking? Have you played Devil May Cry 4?
I've yet to do that.
Can I spoil a character's voice? His name is Agnes. And and so he's got this, there's this thing where a lot of people think that the redneck chick is his daughter. because they're both black-haired and fucking crazy. And then they have them, there was like, they break, so when Dante goes through his area, his like, in this big theater, and it's not like they're gonna have him do it. They do a fucking Shakespeare recital shit. And I remember the stuff he's saying is like, it takes a trip to hell for a human to worship their God. And you have a thing. I'm like, wow, that's a fucking awful line. Like, almost every line he has is carried just by his voice alone. And also, he's a big brute. He's a brute scientist. I haven't seen that before.
I wonder if the new Pokemon game is going to have voice acting.
Can you imagine if it did? Just, I hope it's like, I hope Ash Ketchum's voice shows up there as a cameo.
Oh yeah, that would be neat.
I'm sorry, Ash Ketchum is like this character I kind of despise.
Like his voice is really iconic though.
It is.
Like the same voice actress voiced Jimmy in Ape Escape 2, the main protagonist, and like also the actress for Misty voiced Natalie in that same game. So like you immediately, like the opening cutscene, you immediately hear both of those characters as just the characters from the Pokemon anime.
You know what was fucking bugging me? I replayed Persona 5. And there's a character named his name's like Yoshida something, or Japanese guy, he's a politician. And I'm hearing his voice. And his voice is so fucking familiar. You ever have that? And it starts fucking bugging you? And that's when I realized he's fucking Doc Ock in PS4 Spider-Man. And it's like, wow, no wonder I like Doc so much.
You know, I miss 90s anime voice actors.
So, same, actually. Just...
Like, I think this ties back to the Evangelion Netflix redub, is that, I think we mentioned this before, was how, like, even when those dubs were bad, they were at least, like, recognizable. They had this sort of signature to them.
Like Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know something Yu sounds.
And I was thinking of that because I was watching the dub of Hunter x Hunter, and that's like the same anime anime done adapted from the manga series by the same guy who did Yu Yu Hakusho, and like the voice actors for like the dub for Hunter x Hunter are pretty good, but they don't have that like unique signature that Yu Yu Hakusho did.
Yeah.
It just sounds like good voice acting rather than, like a specific character you can immediately think, yes, that's who that is.
What's that fucking guy? Kuwabara? Mm-hmm. He's right there. How do you...
He talks like this, and I gotta get it right because it's hard to get.
I thought he was actually fucking mentally retarded when he showed up, and I hate saying that, but like, I'm like, what's his issue?
Hey, Urameshi, we're gonna get some spirits today.
He could also talk. He could be any of the voices in the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that's a movie I fucking love because my sister made me watch it way too many times.
I've been meaning to get back to that because I remember the first time I watched Labyrinth, I hated it. Like, I don't know why though.
It's the aesthetic is very polarized.
It's a fairy tale aesthetic, and at the time I watched it, I thought it was kind of girly. I know that's very unprogressive of me to say in this day and age, but
the whole movie was made to show off David Bowie's balls.
Yeah.
I don't like Doug Walker. When he did that joke about have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
That was the greatest joke he ever told, in my opinion. One of the greatest because it encapsulated that movie.
I mean, if that character wasn't portrayed by Jew Wario, then it would have been a little bit better.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the one he did a review of Labyrinth.
Oh, okay.
I
thought you were talking about Suburban Nights.
Oh, fuck. He was in that?
Yeah.
Is Jareth or the guy? Mm-hmm. No, what I'm talking about is like, he did this joke where he needed every single dick joke you could make in the Labyrinth just to get out of the way.
But yeah, I've been meaning to go back and rewatch that because I think that I'd like it now, especially like with puppeteering.
Yeah. I really like Jim Henson's stuff. It's masterful.
I mean, he was a pioneer in that field. There are techniques that are still being used in Star Wars movies today.
I wouldn't see him do a horror movie.
I mean, like, his studio, yeah, because Jim Henson is dead.
I mean, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah. He's fucking...
Like, depending on who you ask, some people will probably say that The Dark Crystal was a horror movie.
Yeah, I watched that once. It was fucking unsettling to me.
I'm making it a sequel, I think.
Yeah, I like the Skeksis. They always stuck out to me. I like the scene where the one they thought she was dead, they kept trying to pull the necklace off. I have a true story about my family. Like, my great-great-grandmother died, and all the family fucking lived in Sicily. And when they found out she died, they all fucking came over and they tore her house apart. I even heard, like, she had stained glass windows. They cut the board to fucking get the windows out. They fucking ripped her house to shreds. And I didn't know her, but I still think that's hysterical, the mental image of the entire family clan coming over from Sicily to rob this old lady. I apologize for that. Hey, can't you really watch them? So in the power outage, the second day it happened, me and my grandmother went to my sister's house, and she's got the HD, all the fancy TV shit. She pulled up that TLC channel, the learning channel. No, it's the fucking modern day freak show. She pulled on the show that was called the Dr. Pimple Popper. Fucking disgusting as hell. But these people aren't like this. They get these, I don't want to use the word, they're the kind of people who don't leave their house because of their physical deformities. And they all come from, like, Oakland, California, where we're getting all these people. And my friend says, what the fuck's in the water over there?
I saw a clip from, like, a TLC show where it's just a fat guy sitting in a tub, like, washing himself.
Do you have tattoos?
No, this is some other guy, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a trough that he just, like, he's like 700 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's just him washing his body. I'm like, this is just Simpsons in real life. That one clip where Bart's like, he's like, I wash myself with a rag on a stick.
That's literally what the fuck it is. They had this, and we watched My 600-Pound Life because that's a guilty pleasure of mine. Because there's these good people going on good journeys, but there's fucking assholes. Like, there's this one guy named Lee. And he's, and what he fucking did was he fucking told the doctor, I think I may be anorexic. Sorry. And his wife goes on this wonderful journey. And he stayed, do you know who Stephen Asante is?
Remind me.
A crazy fat guy. Sitting around and he's crazy as fucking shit. They had him on there. Like, he was on early YouTube. He would do videos like where he would show all the stuff that your tax money paid for because he's too fat to leave his house. And his brother's on there. It was fucking watching this horrible degenerate of a human have a good ending, but his good brother having a better life. Yeah, the other thing though is they have shows like, one of them is called Big and Little or some shit like that. It's about obese midgets. They have what they need to have is the ultimate show to explain their channel is a family of morbidly obese, dermatologically fucked up midgets who live in a house with hoarders. By the way, hoarders, they had this one lady on there. She had fucking 600 dead cats in her house. She refused to get rid of them. And they had a fucking neighbor's cat come in there and drag one of them away to eat it. I'm sorry, I hate laughing at these horrible people, but it's like, it's a modern day freak show.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
I apologize.
That's fine. Like, people obviously watch that shit.
My sister does as a guilty habit. She's also a medical professional, and they have the most fucked up sense of humor. They have a guy they used to call Doorknob. He had this growth on his head.
I wish they had gone more into that in the show Scrubs. You ever watch that?
Oh, God. I love that show.
I remember there were, like, moments in the show where, like, there was a lot of morbid humor about, like, death and, like, people... Like, there was one where, like, a subplot is, like, a guy who shoved a light bulb up his ass, and, like, they had to figure out how to remove it.
So when you're surprising thing, that is not rare. Light bulbs are extremely popular. Because they think because it's big on one side, they can pull it out. No.
The way they solved in the show is they, like, wrapped a surgical glove around it and then pulled out. So I imagine, like, that's how the writers figured that out.
Yeah, you know what? One of my favorite things I've heard saying. So my sister worked with this guy who's a nurse who used to be a nurse in an abortion clinic. And she said that he kept just lobbing out dead baby jokes and abortion jokes left, right, and center. And that's how they handle it, by fucked up humor.
Yeah.
You'd think in the universe of Evangelion that Shinji Ikari just stand up.
I don't know.
Just like there's a stage, it opens and he's sitting there, someone says, let me tell you about my dad. I still can't remember the fact there's a fucking anime named after Neon Genesis Impacts, after the giant holocaust of a world.
Mm-hmm. I was just imagining Shinji going on stage like, hey everybody, what's the deal with angels? They certainly aren't acting like angels, I tell you what.
Do you know what I really want to picture?
Kind of turned to Hank Hill at the end there. Wow.
Yeah. I want, if they do that, I want his humor to be like Bill Burr or Louis C.K.'s shit. God.
I mean, I think about that one clip of Louis C.K. where it's like, maybe something nice will happen. Why would anybody ever assume that ever?
I kind of like Louis C.K.
And that's basically Ava in a nutshell.
Do you know that? So he's rewatching it, and then there's an Ava Geeks fucking frame by frame commentary that I found out exists, because there's parts of Ava Geeks that we forget exist. It's like you walk in the wiki, say, why is there a picture of Oscar riding werewolf? And they close that door and drag you away. And apparently there's this implication of Evangelion that Shinji and Asuka had sex. She made a shitty comment. He choked her. And she made a second shitty comment.
There's like a radio clip, I don't know if you're aware of this, of the voice actors for Shinji and Asuka doing like a PSA about like safe sex. And like they're both like making like moaning sounds, and like they're in a car, and then the narrator says, one of these teenagers has HIV. Neither of them brought a condom. Or something.
I'm sorry. And then you find out, like, Asuka has a super hardcore heroin addict. That's what her and her friend does when they're done playing fucking... You know that video game they play on the Dreamcast is a real game? The SFX? I just hear, like, they start, like, getting, like, really fucked up.
Speaking of wikis, I was thinking about this last night, was... When I was, like, 19, I think, I had this idea for, like a Family Guy fan fiction, which I never went too far into. But what made me think of that was the Family Guy wiki. For some reason, like it's a trip going to that. I think it's still up because the entries are is they go through every single joke that Family Guy has said. Even if it's like a throwaway joke or a throwaway character, there's an article about it. So that they just make all these shitty, basically throwaway jokes and characters canon, which is kind of weird when you consider the implications of that.
Does that fucking mean that that Peter Griffin is a god?
I mean,
he can do anything he wants. He can go, God, that's a fucking scary ramification.
There's one where there's an article about the Lois, Peter Griffin Jr., which was a character
that they shook to death.
Yeah, Peter shook him to death, and it was just a cutaway gag. But there's an article about him. So where that fan fiction that I mentioned would have gone was that this dead character gets resurrected and he goes after them for revenge. And then the multiverse starts coming apart. That's what leads to all this happening. And it would be amazing to see that happen as the final season of Family Guy. Just the writers just going completely throwing all caution to the wind, and just having it animated by Studio Trigger and have Hideaki Anno direct all the episodes.
And then you see a giant Peter rip open, and he's got a giant vagina in his head that Meg flies out of.
Yeah, just let him do whatever.
Hideaki Anno and fucking Kojima need to make an anime or a game or both. Can you picture an Evangelion game by Kojima?
Or a Family Guy game by them.
I want to see that. Oh my god, I'm sorry, just picturing you see Snake, but it's Peter Griffin in a Snake outfit doing a shh.
I mean, I think that might have been a cutaway gag at some point in one of the episodes. You know how they come up with jokes?
I bet you they're walking. What are the kids watching? This. What will their parents be wondering about in 2 months? Have you seen your Leroy Jenkins joke?
I was about to bring that up, yes.
I'm sorry. First off, who the fuck watches Family Guy and knows about Leroy Jenkins?
I mean, I'm sure the audience now is in their 30s, so...
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that aren't 14.
And also... That was the worst execution of a joke I have ever seen, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the context of what they were doing, but like, I don't think it even matters.
No, all that matters is the line. Leroy Jenkins. He has to say, and they fucking butchered that too, if I remember correctly.
I think they were using the sprites from the Family Guy MMO.
They were. God, there's a fucking MMO. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Remember when Pirates of the Caribbean had an MMO?
I remember Fusion Fall, the Cartoon Network one.
Oh, fuck. I always wish I could have gotten that. Remember the MMO they made for Foster Home for Imaginary Friends?
I don't, actually, no.
You could make your own friend, and it was basically Club Penguin, but with friends. And there was a rule that you couldn't say any profanity except in usernames.
I remember, well, the OG one for me was Toontown.
Toontown's still active.
I remember, like, hearing that there's, like, a resurrected server or something.
Yeah. Fuck. Why do all the good MMOs die and Warcraft remains?
I mean, Warcraft is kind of the
God.
Yeah, like, basically the one that, like, spawned all these other MMOs.
He sits on a throne of... I just picture him walk in there, and they show, like, it's the president of Blizzard walks in, and he takes off his shirt, and he turns around, and he takes a giant cable, hooks to his chest, and they download the energy of Warcraft servers into him. If Warcraft falls, Blizzard crumbles.
And then Reggie is just looking at the skyscraper window. He says, and he just goes like, "I'm watching you." And he turns his back and then walks into the ocean like Godzilla.
I'm sorry. I just picture Reggie versus Godzilla.
I was seeing people saying that Reggie should be a DLC character for Ultimate.
I want him either in Ultimate or Mortal Kombat. His fatality, he would have two of them. One is he grabs their head like a Nintendo Switch. And the other one is that he transforms into Reggie Ascendant. Ultra Instinct Reggie versus Ultra Instinct Shaggy. I don't even know what the fuck Ultra Instinct is.
Yeah, it's a Dragon Ball Super thing.
They turn blue?
Or no, they turn white. They get a white aura or something. Like their hair doesn't turn white though. I haven't really been watching Super.
I never really caught on to how the Super Saiyans. It's like a multi-step stage. Ha 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 ha. Do you think that they have mutated vocal cords to allow for screaming at such emotional intensity?
Well, I mean, you'll have to ask the voice actors. You know, if maybe their vocal cords have just imagine like dissecting their vocal cords. It's just like a giant
You pull out this giant fucking cable.
It's like the size of an eel or something.
That's actually how the voice actors on Prey. That an anime voice actor can shoot up to 3 tendrils to grab and dissect prey alive.
I thought you were talking about Prey, the video game.
Oh god! Oh, I liked Prey.
Are you talking about the original or the remake?
Yes. I really liked the first one, and I myself the second one. I was, oh, you're not going to be a bounty hunter on the alien planet because you're supposed to be like a bounty hunter, that's shit. And then I played Prey, and the remake is great in my opinion.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get into that. I mean, I've got so many games in my backlog. I'm still working my way towards finishing Red Dead 2, getting through the epilogue. I got to the part where spoilers by the way. I got to the part where John his family leaves him. So he gets to that cruel world.
No, you're gonna love. There's a song that plays in a very specific sequence. It is the most fucking redneck, back holler thing you'll ever hear, and you'll like it, I think. By the way, I didn't think the game could make me like Uncle that much, because Uncle was okay in the first one.
I mean, he only shows up at, the very end, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Red Dead 2 makes him really likable. Mm-hmm. I've been trying to get every fucking trapper I've ever... You know how fucking hard it is to hunt in that game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I remember in the first game you could just shoot him from your horse.
Yeah, this time, you can.
You could just drive by a deer.
Most animals you can lasso. You can lasso deer. Mm-hmm. I lassoed a deer and fucking stabbed it to death. And I just want to picture this hunter, and he's like, no, my favorite thing I like to do is when a guy, if there's a hunter, if he has a really nice horse, he'll have a 3-star animal. Mm-hmm. I know that because I kill hunters.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned you started it again.
Yeah.
Did you have to play through the whole cutscene stuff?
What I did was I saved. When I first did this, I had the idea, let's save after that really fucking long tutorial because my game shut down because of power outage and I had to play again. That fucking shit is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. See, I should have done that because I only have one save file. So, like, if I wanted to start it again, I have to play through the whole tutorial.
The greatest thing you should do is max out your beard to 10. 10 beard on Arthur Morgan looks like he fucking broke his neck backwards and is looking at you.
But I would appreciate if Rockstar would have a patch made where it's like a new game plus thing.
I would.
Where you don't have to like go through the whole tutorial all over again. They didn't do that for GTA 5 though, so I'm not gonna hold my breath.
You know what would be a really cool thing they should do if they do a DLC? I thought what they should have. Vampires. And you could even have zombies as their minions, but I just want to hear, I have a plan. We're going to drink the blood of the immortal.
That was actually the DLC for Infamous 2. There was a vampire one.
I love that. I never got to that DLC, but I love Infamous and Infamous 2.
Yeah.
And didn't really get it in the last Son.
See, what I liked about Second Son was the character change. I didn't really care for Cole. I think in retrospect, I think he's a good character, but when playing through the first two games, it was just like, he just felt like a joyless character.
Yeah.
Like, I know that he was in, like, went through a lot in his arc or whatever, but it's like, you know, if the character's not fun, why bother playing it?
You know what they should have had him do? The more you charge him up, the more energetic he gets. I really liked his draining power for no reason.
Yeah.
That felt good draining. I like look, I can turn off all these lights. Mm-hmm. You know what they should do for a new Infamous game? Make a character and you pick their power.
I would like that.
You could pick from like maybe lightning, the smoke shit that the guy has in the end, or new stuff. Because you know what I think would be an interesting idea? Fucking terror or geomancy. Rock.
That was at the end of Infamous.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Second Son.
Oh yeah, the villain has that. No, doesn't she control concrete?
Yeah, concrete. But yeah, that'd be neat.
Hey, random thing I found out, by the way, I thought was interesting. Did you know Sonya Blade had the same voice actor for almost 10 years?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You don't hear a lot about Mortal Kombat voice actors. Mm-hmm. Except with Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big news.
They changed her face to give her that Ronda Rousey cheek. You know what I'm talking about? She's got that very defined lines. These lines, I don't know what they're fucking called.
The laugh lines?
Yeah, she's got really defined laugh lines. She might as well. It looks cool, but she's just Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
She could fucking beat the shit out of Goro in real life.
Last thing I want to talk about is Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned if you're going to see that or not.
Most likely.
I probably will skip it.
You know, I've seen almost every Marvel movie on release except for Avengers.
I've skipped a few. I didn't see Thor 2. I didn't see Black Panther. I want to say there's another one that I skipped. I can't remember what it was, though. Yeah, Ant-Man. I skipped that.
Oh. Actually, I agree. Black Panther is good. Thor 2 did fucking nothing besides give us the one stone, and Ant-Man was fucking just introducing Ant-Man. You know what fucking pissed me off? How the fans handle Killmonger. He's the villain of Black Panther. Mm-hmm. All they're like, yeah, I love Killmonger, woo! And then, like, no one says the fucking Claw. Claw had the, like, he's... What bugs me is it would be like they did in Batman versus Superman 2, Call of... I don't know. What happens is they have a fucking, like, Joker shows up. And, oh my god, and all of a sudden, he gets shot in the back of the head. And it turns out the villain is Calendar Man. You'd be fucking pissed, kind of, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that's the same way. Ulysses Claw is cool in the comics. He is a fucking man made out of sound who can download himself. Which is stupid, but it's cool.
It reminds me of... I posted in the Shitty Webcomics Discord about Lost Girls. I want to mention, too, if you haven't checked it already, like, somebody tagged you in Shitty Webcomics. They said they recognize you from somewhere. I don't know. You might want to check.
Oh, cool. I have way too many Discord chats, and I have to do the scrolls. I'm going to check that.
I can't remember if he said, like, it was from, like, some video game forum or what, but... I don't know, like, to go see for yourself. But anyway, I was talking about, like, they were talking about Alan Moore in the Comicsgate tab, and like they were just saying like how he's kind of a hack, but he made it like that's kind of what makes his work so good, is that he doesn't take the comic book superhero stuff so seriously, and that kind of works for like the genre he works in. But I was mentioning Lost Girls, and I'm like, when you think about it, Lost Girls is just kind of a shitty hentai, and like they were, and yeah, when you put like Thomas responded, he's like, you can like make your porn as flowery and fluffy as you want. It's still going to be shitty. It's going to be a shittier version of hentai. If you want to make it art, then you're basically missing the point. It's kind of like goes back to that whole utilitarian approach.
That's the most fucking jaded word I ever heard, and I love it.
I mean, it's accurate too.
I might have to steal that.
But yeah, like I've seen people like saying that Captain Marvel is going to like be overshadowed by Alita. I would say only in cult status, though. It doesn't look like Alita's doing so well at the box office.
God.
It certainly got a big boost from China.
Yeah,
it made back its production money from what it looks like.
They should merchandise it.
That would I would actually like to see that. Like if they did like a Alita action figure.
I want a fucking action figure of Gruishka. You could swap out the head for when he gets the eyeball shoved in there. You could get the claw. You could make it like the claw goes on the ground, has a hidden stand, so you can shoot the claw at her.
Mm-hmm. And the art book also came out. That looks pretty interesting.
I want to look at the art book. Mm-hmm. My new project is basically Alita in design. Mm-hmm. Fucking Gruishka's arm. Like, I get super into techno-organic shit. That's our style. When I saw his arm, I'm like, oh, I like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't look like Captain Marvel is going to be very good. It might surprise me, though. Same as happened with Alita, but I can't be so sure. Like, from everything I've heard about Captain Marvel, sounds like it's not going to be very good.
I hate Brie Larson.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like a very pleasant person.
Yeah, I don't know if she said anything shitty recently.
Well, she said, like, there are too many white men who go to these movies. Like, white men stay out, sort of thing with the movie. It's like, and I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I won't waste my money.
No, I think what they should have featured like a shit post is that you should be allowed to give money and decide where your ticket money goes so you can pick what actor.
Yeah, I can see that being very easily abused, yes.
Yeah, but it's fucking happening. By the way, I hope it's a great... you know what they should do for Stan Lee cameo? Because they have...
I'm sort of... go ahead.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say, like, I'm dreading, like, the end credits of like, this being the first and possibly only movie being dedicated to Stan Lee. In memory of Stanley. I'm dreading seeing that in the comments.
I hope that Infinity War Part 2...
I hope that they only do it then, for Endgame.
God, yeah, I'm sorry.
Because if they do it for Captain Marvel and not for Endgame, then I am going to be very upset.
I'd be actually kind of fucking mad. You don't get me mad, okay, you get me mad fucking easily, but you will get rage of such a level, I will get a white aura.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add?
One last random note. Super Skrull is a fucking awesome villain. I've been Zach.
I've been Tony, and this has been The Monkey Bar. Who's Super Skrull?
He's a Fantastic Four villain who's probably going to be in... He's a Skrull who has
Skrull.
Yeah, Skrull. Is it Skrull?
Okay.
Skrull...